Hey guys, this is Dr. Hub. Today we are going to look at this sample. To begin with, first the simple random sampling. Simple random sampling. So here in simple random sampling, the samples are drawn in such a way that every element in the population has equal chance. So every element has equal chance and equal chance of being included, and the randomness refers to the method of picking the sample and not the outcome. So the randomness, it refers to method of picking the sample. So it is a method of picking the sample. So the method of picking the sample and not the outcome. So it doesn't deal with the outcome. Then comes the stratified random sampling. So there is a stratified random sampling. So a stratified random sampling, in case of this, what is happening is the population is first divided into the population. If you see, it is divided into the homogeneous groups or the strata. So there is homogeneous groups or the strata, and from these strata the random samples are drawn. So from these strata the random sample is, you get the random samples. For example, dividing the population into a strata of men, we divided them into men, women and children. This will be the stratified sample data example. So we divide it into men, women, children, and then picking the samples randomly from the strata. And then you pick it from randomly from these strata. Next, we look at the cluster sampling. So in terms of cluster sampling, there is a population is divided into internally heterogeneous groups. So the population, it is divided into internal heterogeneous groups. So internal heterogeneous groups. Those internal heterogeneous groups, and then a simple random sampling is done of these clusters and taken as samples. And then a simple random sampling, is done to these clusters, and taken as samples. The clusters here, they are nothing but the sampling unit. So the clusters are nothing but the sampling unit. So this is usually done when the large scale simple random sampling or the stratified sampling is laborious or expensive. So it is done when the large scale simple random sampling or the stratified sampling so this is laborious or expensive. So this is the method used for assessing the immunization status of children. So this kind of cluster sampling is used for the immunization for the immunization status, and this is in case of the children. The cluster sampling is involved in as a design effect, involves a design effect. So it has a design effect, and which is an adjustment to allow the design structure. And it aids in the correlation between clusters. So there is a correlation between the structures. Next, we look at the multi-stage sampling. So in terms of the multi-stage sampling, there is a form of cluster sampling There is a form of cluster sampling. So where the sampling clusters are chosen from already divided clusters. So it forms a cluster sampling where the sample clusters are chosen from the sampling cluster. They are chosen from, so they are chosen and they're chosen from the already divided clusters. Already divided clusters. Next, we look at the systematic random sampling. So there is systematic random sampling. So here, in systematic random sampling, there is a systematic pattern to select the elements of a sample. So the systematic selection is done. So for example, so every third baby to be born is to be selected. So every third baby born. This is an example. Should be selected.